What's up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here with part 1 of the ultimate 100% guide for Black Myth Wukong. In this guide, I'll be showing you how to get every single secret, every single collectible, and defeat every single boss, and of course obtain the true secret ending. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, the journey to the west will begin shortly, but first we have a little bit of an exciting intro. So let's take a look. And as per usual, this is an incredibly epic scene that's going to unfold just in a few moments, so get ready. This is actually in-game graphics, but right now I'm not controlling the character. This is just going to be a cutscene that plays out. We will be taking control of Sun Wukong here shortly. Things are going to get pretty heated here in a few moments, once a few words are exchanged. So let's tune in.
My master. Safe. The scriptures. Sound. All I ever wanted was a life in my mountain, free from you and your so-called merits. Those high above don't trust me. I understand that. And they send you and those knuckleheads to threaten me. To obey and serve once more? I understand that too. But what I don't understand is... you bastards killing my kind!
Stay back, stupid dog. Mark this. He's not just any monkey. He's a monkey of merit. A monkey was made Buddha once. None other than me can challenge him to a duel. Look, monkey. I don't make a habit of fighting someone I've bested before. Here's my offer. If you lose, I'll take you to the Celestial Court. They will stay and level your mountain. But if I lose, I shall certainly take revenge, and they will level your mountain nonetheless. How tragic would that be, huh? You are one of the court, We don't need to resort to violence. How about you bend the knees, admit the wrongs, and we can put this behind us.
All these years, except for that pig, you're the one who talks the tallest tales. Good, I am entertained. Speaking of entertainment, wouldn't it be fun if I pluck your extra eye out for my snack and allow you to keep the other two? Because I'd hate to let you miss how I'll slaughter each mongrel of the court. Those below, those above, and that black mutt of yours. Come at me, all of you.
And so we gain control of Sun Wukong here. This is a tutorial where you can't actually die. You don't have a health bar, but you can utilize different abilities. So just so that you know, the abilities are pretty standard, right? There's a number of different melee options you have, and we're going to just kind of dodge around for now. You can run by holding sprint. Actually, the R1 button. You can dodge by pressing circle. And whenever you're utilizing abilities, like the one I just used, the immobilize, if you hold R2, a small menu pops up. And you can then decide which one to pick. So if we pick immobilize, we can then immobilize our opponent and then go in for light attacks, which are the square combo. So just by pressing square repeatedly, you'll initiate a combo. If you can notice in the bottom right hand corner, you might see some little orbs that are lit up. Those are heavy attacks or focus points that allow us to execute heavy attacks. So by pressing triangle, you can actually utilize those points for some major damage. If you hold R2 and triangle, that's kind of like a rock solid, allows you to block attacks. Grab attacks are pretty epic in this game, and depending on the damage that the boss has taken, sometimes they're scripted, so you gotta be careful. Perfect dodges do result in a decoy being crafted, so you can see and hear a noise. That's what that indicates there. Oh, he missed. There you go. See, that was the rock solid right there. And of course you can do the third ability after this little scripted cutscene here. And I'll show you, that's called a Pluck of Many. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of epic boss fights in the entire game. There's probably upwards of 80 or more boss fights in the game. And we'll be facing up with every single one. And I'll give you strategies on how to defeat everyone as well. So.
For that word, all realms and beings have ruined themselves.
Here we go, part 2 of the fight. So again, if we were to do a Pluck of Many, sometimes you can kind of stack the abilities. So we immobilize them so we wouldn't be interrupted with our cast. And now we have a bunch of Wukongs helping us, as well, duplicates if you will. But here we go with the light attack combo, which is actually the best combo in the game. Doing the light attack combo and just all the way to completion is going to result in some of the biggest damage you're going to see, as well as staggering the enemy. So, really fun stuff. When you have full focus points, you can do a super powerful attack that if you look at that damage we did in the boss fight. Focus points, again, are going to allow you to do heavy attacks. The way you build up focus is by striking your enemy with light attacks. So it's kind of a nice cycle. Farm up focus points by using your light attacks and then execute a varied combo, which means you're pressing triangle at some point in the combo, so you can utilize a focus point for a heavy attack and much bigger damage.
Good. I was in need of a back scratcher.
So we're about to enter phase 3 of the fight. Here, if you hold L2, oh, actually I didn't do it very well, but if you hold L2, you can actually dodge projectiles. Really nice to do. It's super epic, especially whenever you see all these things coming at you. Oh, I'm so used to having a different slot equipped there. You're gonna get all kinds of new abilities. Lots of fun, by the way. Sun Wukong is, of course, the master of transformations. I would love for him to hit me so I can showcase that for you guys, but it's fine. Big damage. And again, this is more just a tutorial, just have fun with it. So when he tries to hit you with rock solid equip, he's definitely going to be, backing away. Some enemies are so powerful, they will break through your rock solid defense, so just keep that in mind. That's why we're going to be equipping some different spells in our playthrough. This is more of an epic fight here. These fights are just fantastic and excellently choreographed. And just mind you, this is the intro. The prologue, if you will. But a very significant event is going to happen that's going to kind of pave the way for the events to come in the entire game as it is, like who we'll be playing as and everything. So it's actually a really huge reveal in just a few moments that, if you're not paying careful attention, is tough to figure out.
Taste my axe!
But all throughout the game, we will be rewarded with these excellent cutscenes, just like this.
Here is dazzling. Fight me in the woods if you have the guts. And so ends the last tale of Sun Wukong. A hero who treasured his freedom above all else. Buddhahood he attained, yes, but cumbersome he found the celestial rules, for he yearned to come back and to revel in the simple joys with us. Little did he know, his choice to forgo the life above only fueled their mistrust. This stone has stood for countless days on the mountain. Since my youth, they've said that his remains lie within it. Unbegotten, undying, such is the nature of a stone monkey. Though his body was broken, his spirit endures. Into 6 relics he turned, and separately they escaped, choosing to stay hidden. Those are the 6 senses of the great sage. Yet no one has ever seen them, not in centuries. I'm old now. Venture through all the lands I cannot. Yet among you, there might be one who is destined. One that shall recover all his scattered relics. And upon the return of the relics to Mount Tuaguo, he may yet rise again.
So it seems Sun Wukong's journey has ended, but the Destined One's journey has just begun. So if you haven't already figured it out, we are not Sun Wukong. We are actually a monkey from the same mountain, Mount Huaguang, and we just happen to be one that is deemed destined to perhaps revive Sun Wukong by collecting all 6 of his relics. Interestingly enough, there are 6 chapters as well, kind of corresponding with each of the relics we may or may not obtain on our journey.
Nowhere better than a home. Reach death and ever grow.
Huh?
Here, you see what bliss my fate shows. Luck's around the corner. Seems like he just fell from a fruit tree here. Perfect timing. This peach knew I needed a snack.
Uh-oh.
You sneaky rascal! Dare fool me? I'll make sure you regret it.
Alright, so now the proper tutorial can begin. It was kind of, let's listen to this dialogue really quickly. So they're saying, no matter how many times you come around, you're still mischievous as ever, hey? So this is going to be kind of hinting towards the reincarnation aspect of the game. But however, this is the Destined One, not Wukong. But as we can go ahead and, we have an actual arena to showcase some of the abilities here, we can do so. First thing we want to do is learn how to move around a little bit. So left stick just controls your Destined One. Holding R1 down initiates the sprint, which does utilize some stamina. And then square is light attack. So as long as you continue your square combo, that hit right there is going to stagger enemies, bosses, and anything. And you can actually get into a kind of a cycle where you have bosses stun locked if you know how to utilize your light attack combos and focus points. I'd say efficiently, because that's going to really help you out a lot. Aside from that, there is a dedicated jump button just by pressing X. And then you can dodge around and roll around by pressing circle. Again, mashing circle will allow you to do a secondary kind of dodge. If you locked on, the movements are just a little bit tweaked as well. You can actually dodge backwards. Aside from that, once you do have a focus point, which is going to be the circle near the bottom right of the icon there, you'll see the little orb filled up. And once that orb is filled up, then you can press triangle to initiate a focus point. If you don't have any enemies to fight, you can actually charge by just holding triangle, and the bar will fill up, filling up the focus point. When you release it, depending on the number of focus points you have, you'll be able to initiate an attack. Additionally, we'll be going over different stances as well, and everything else you can imagine. So if you notice when the menu comes up, you see to the far left, there's like a gourd. Well, that's your heal. So if you press L1, you can actually heal. So it's pretty interesting. L2 does initiate a projectile deflection that does take up stamina, but you are stationary while using it, so you cannot move forward. So there will be different things we can do along the way to invest skill points to enhance our attributes and our different abilities. So if you press the options button, you can see self-advance. Later on, we'll see that you can actually change the foundation, which is going to be things like enhancing your health and stamina, and even different abilities you can learn along the way. These are different skill trees. And then, of course, you have your staff stances. So once you have points, these are just the experience points that you'll gain along the way, you'll be able to then learn different stances as well. You begin with the smash stance, which is the stance we currently have. We can unlock the pillar stance and thrust stance at any point once we obtain the necessary experience. And so the experience points are called sparks. Sparks of enlightenment, if you will. The will that we obtain is going to be the in-game currency. So for now, all we're going to do is come around and clear out these enemies now that we have a kind of a basic tutorial of how to do everything. Remember, the triangle attack you never want to necessarily lead with because it does leave you vulnerable and open. So you have two pathways here. Just pick the right path for now, and we're going to clear out the enemies and grab everything along the way. A charged heavy attack, it's kind of showcasing what I explained earlier. You can simply hold triangle to charge the attack, and you can move around while you do it. Release and then deal major damage. But again, it is very slow and it does leave you vulnerable. Every time you defeat an enemy, you're going to see that portraits are updated. Portrait just means that it's a document of the entry of the enemy that you fought, the boss that you fought, the chief that you fought, or a character you've met. So in this playthrough, I'm going to show you how to get 100% of the portraits. So not only can you get the achievements, but also you can get all of the goodies and rewards for doing so. So along the way, we'll be facing off with all of the Yao Guais, the Yao Guai Kings, Yao Guai Chiefs, and characters. So also be going to all the meditation spots as well. So as it pertains to the inventory, right now we don't really have much, but you do have just all your items. You have materials for crafting armor and weapons. Drinks and soaks are going to be different things you can equip for your gourd, so you can have different effects, different heals, different boons, and even sometimes you get some cons, some negative effects at the cost of maybe some increased damage. We'll go over those as well. The ingredients are used to make certain medicaments, which are heals that you can use that are not the gourd. You can use different medicines and pills that will allow you to have different effects, things such as ability cooldowns, resistances to elemental damage, etc. And then your key items. These are items just kind of based on the actual story itself. Keys and things like that, literal keys and things of that nature. So let's take this enemy out. So far, these enemies are going to be incredibly easy. So just you can, at this point, just focus on using your light attack, focus on the movement, focus on maybe dodging. And this is going to be our first little save point.
What you waiting for? Pluck your hair and make an offer. Hey, wait! I, the keeper of Blackwind Mountain, have long been waiting for your arrival. Oh, his spitting image, I'd say. Up ahead is Guan Yin Temple. Once it was bustling with worshippers, before it was ruined by that fire. Then the temple was rebuilt. What good is it to rebuild a temple if the goodwill of men has been burned to ashes? You've forgotten this place, but they haven't forgotten you. Oh, that's a tough one. Good luck to you.
So two things here. We've been introduced to the keeper of the shrine and the actual shrine itself. In each chapter, you're going to be rewarded with a different kind of shrine for each one. So every time you activate these shrines that act as your checkpoints, you'll see the different effects. So each chapter has a very unique visual effect. It's really neat. We also obtained a new item which I think is incredibly valuable. I actually equip it immediately. It's called the Incense Tail Talisman. It's a legendary item, and for good reason too. So if you go to your inventory and you select Equip, you can actually pick a slot you want it in. So I like to have it on the down slot. You can do the same. And what this does is using this talisman shall immediately free the soul from the body and guide it back to the last keeper's shrine visited for resurrection. So what that means is if you utilize this talisman, and I'll show you how to do so in just a moment, you will go to the last shrine that you visited. But unlike a Souls-like game, you're not going to have any penalty. You're not going to lose any will, you're not going to lose any sparks or anything like that. So no experience or currency is lost when doing this. There's absolutely no penalty whatsoever, except for the fact that the enemies will respawn. So if we actually offer the incense, which we already did, and you activate the shrine, there's a few different options you have available, a few different functions that this save point serves. You can rest, which will replenish your gourds and all of that. Also, the enemies will respawn. You can travel, so you can fast travel from different locations as well. And then you can use the Trailblazers glyph is available if you have the Digital Deluxe Edition. If not, these gifts will be available to you at a later point. Actually, only one of the gifts will be available, and I'll indicate which one. So here we can actually pick up all these items. You have the Opera Mask, the Almsgiving Armor, Bracer, so you have a full set. You have a new staff you can use, it's a unique staff. You have a Curio, which I'll show you what that is in just a moment, and you have a unique gourd. So I'm going to assume that most of you will not be having this, so if that's the case, you know, we'll go ahead and utilize the regular base items for now. But these items are actually pretty good. So currently we have the Willow Wood staff if you go into your equipment, but at this point, if you had any different staffs, you can actually equip various different items that you have here. So for example, if you had different staffs that you had crafted, you can select between those. So we currently are using the Willow Wood staff, but the Bronze Cloud staff does offer increased damage and critical hit chance, which is pretty solid, especially this early on. Because I don't believe you guys may or may not have it, I'm going to assume, you know, worst case scenario, and then we can use the base item so I can go along this journey with you with the same equipment. So for this, we have this head item here. These actually increase the amount of will you get from defeating enemies. Now, will, of course, is your currency, right? So when you absorb will or you defeat enemies and gain will, that's going to and leveling and things of that nature. So if you look to the top right, we have 187 will. To the far right of that is the number of sparks that we have. We don't have any sparks yet, so we can't use any skill points. So this is the Folk Opera Mask. The full set, just so you can see it, I'll go ahead and have it equipped, does have you know, set bonuses. So it moderately increases the will. So you're going to see slightly increases the chance, moderately increases the chance, significantly increases the chance, and massively increases the chance. That's the language you're going to be seeing, and from there you can indicate how much you're going to be getting. So that's what we'd look like. So again, pretty awesome. A really fun set to use early on. I think it's fantastic. And also, again, increases the amount of will you get. So that's never a problem in my opinion. So anyways, we're going to see if we can unequip this. I don't even know how to unequip something. I guess I've never actually done that. Are we stuck wearing this mask? I don't think you can unequip stuff. That's the funny thing. How does one unequip something? Yeah, because you can't equip nothing. Oops, I was just trying to show you guys something too. But anyways, we'll go over that in just a moment. Aside from that, we have the Curios. Curios are items that you can kind of slot into your character or inventory, your equipment slot, and they can grant you passive bonuses. So we just obtained the Wind Chime. So this slightly increases movement speed. Again, you can get rare Curios all the way up to legendary or even mythical Curios. So it's always nice to have those at your disposal. But this would slightly increase movement speed, which is super nice to have equipped early on, just because of the fact that you won't have to, you know, focus on the slow movement speed at first that you certainly do have. When it comes to the gourds, we have the old gourd, which is just a common starting gourd that we had equipped from the very beginning. Each time we utilize the gourd, it restores 33% of our maximum health. So remember, it's not a number of HP points, but it's a percentage of your overall health bar. So 33% is going to give you a third of your health bar back every drink. The Trailblazers Scarlet Gourd, which is of course the Digital Deluxe Edition gourd, is pretty interesting because when the gourd is full, the very first sip that you take replenishes full health. So let's say that normally you only have the 33%, but if you have a full gourd and you have 10% health left, even if you drink your gourd, you're going to have full health. If it's beyond 33% of your health bar missing, you'll actually gain a full health bar back. So really, really cool in my opinion. Aside from that, we already equipped the talisman, and then you got these things called tiny pieces of gold. These are just I thought they were actually really, you know, unique, and you had to save them up. But any fragment of gold can be used simply for the purposes of transactions. So you sell them so you can get will in return. They serve no other purpose. Okay, so anyways, let's see if we can't unequip this mask. If not, I apologize, but yeah, that's kind of my bad. I was just trying to showcase it for you guys, but since that is the case, we just have that mask on right now. There's no way to take it off, in my opinion. There's no way to take it off until we get something different. I have no other clue, no other way how to unequip it, I guess, at this point. So anyways, that's unfortunate. I guess what we could do is go to settings, and then you can go to gameplay and then take the mask off, right? You have the option to do that, just so you know. But anyways, we're just going to leave it on for now. My apologies. I didn't want to have anything on that would give me any benefit, but just so that you know, without the 4 pieces, I don't get the set bonus, so I'm not getting any additional will. I'm just getting like 4 or 5 points of additional defense, which is pretty negligible at this point. Alright, so we're going to cross this bridge, and this is where, you know, the game can kind of seem a little daunting. We're like, wow, there's so many pathways to take. But I will say that the way the levels are designed are actually quite linear, but it is still a semi-open world game where you can kind of pick and choose. But remember, there's going to be pathways like this. They're just more so for show, and some of which you can't even traverse past. So there's a lot of limitations on where you can and can't go. But the game does a really good way to mask it and look really pretty along the way. So anyways, we've got our first spark, which is great. When you gather materials, it's actually pretty interesting because it serves 2 purposes. Gathering materials can be used, of course, for the ingredients themselves can be used for the medicaments and the pills that I taught you about. But other than that, it also serves the purpose of collecting and harvesting seeds. If you harvest seeds later in the game, you're going to meet an NPC that can harvest these plants for you. And so essentially, you don't have to be picking these plants anymore. You can actually just speak with that NPC, and you'll get the benefit of having the full harvest really quickly. So here we have 2 paths ahead of us. We have a big hulking enemy to the right, and then we have this kind of fork over to the left, and we see this baboon type enemy over here, really inspecting this this Buddha head you see here. So we're gonna go investigate what he's doing, and this is gonna be really important. This is gonna be part of the first side quest that we are introduced to, and also one that spans the entire game. So here we're gonna gather, and we got the Skanda of Form. It's a key item. So there is a total of, I want to say 5 Skanda, and you get 1 in each chapter, with the exception of Chapter 5, where you do not obtain a Skanda. And here what we're going to do is take a look at it. And here we've got these ingredients here. Every time you see a plant, be sure to harvest it because you can get the seeds for it. Some of the seeds are scripted events, and others are just by continuously harvesting these plants. So be sure to do that because the seeds are going to be important, so you don't ever have to harvest them again later on in the game. But here we have our first key item. Again, this is the Skanda of Form. This is 1 of 5. We're going to be getting a full set by the end of the game, of course. So now we can circle back here. You can kind of look for different, you know, ingredients along the way, which they're going to be kind of sprinkled throughout. Remember that they do respawn, but it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you're continuously dying in an area, you might see, oh, they respawned. So come back here. We can take out the enemies over to the right. You can harvest that, I think it's Gentian over to the right. Stamina management is going to be key here, so just make sure, because our bars are really tiny right now, that we are being mindful of that. But we want to stick to the river, and you can see that these aren't actually stones, but these are all statue heads. We're going to be facing off with a unique enemy here. That's why I'm going to pass the harvestable item here. But these are frogs that explode once you defeat them. And of course, it's a poison cloud. So be sure to avoid that. You can pick up some jade lotus along the way. So now we're just expanding our inventory of different plants here. The frogs love to ambush you, so just make sure that you aren't just blindly picking any or harvesting any ingredients in lakes or little shallow bodies of water, because you're certainly going to get caught. Now we have a unique enemy here. He's actually pretty strong, so just be careful. He is a pretty tough enemy. So again, I'm utilizing a series of light attacks and the heavy attacks. Here we're going to use some health. But he hits really hard, so don't be ashamed. Try to finish the light attack combo, and then we can do a heavy attack combo there. Go in for the light again. Get the stagger bonus. We can heal again just to be safe. Jumping attacks are pretty powerful. Definitely something that you can do. And they will deal some increased damage, especially if you have a focus point you can spend. And they're executed by doing jump and triangle, or you can do jump and square. Jump and square won't use a focus point, but it will get you to an enemy if they're a little bit further away. So here we can pick up the purple Lingxi, and we can absorb this will. A little trick that I want to show you guys is, if you notice, if you gather or absorb the essence of a will, it actually replenishes one gourd use depending on the number of sprites. So sometimes you may see one little sprite, or two, or three, and depending on the number of sprites, that's how many times your gourd will be replenished. So I think that's a really, really interesting thing. Over time, you can actually upgrade your gourds, which means you can upgrade the number of uses, number of times you can heal, and then you can also upgrade your drink. And when you upgrade the drink, that just increases the efficiency of the drink. So say, for example, the 33% health regen might jump up to 40%, all the way up to maybe even 50% after subsequent upgrades. So pretty interesting. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and heal here. We don't have tons of health, so we got to be careful. This enemy is pretty tough, so let's go ahead and face off with the bull guard. Remember, light attack is the best way to go. You can do stuns there and then continue stunning the enemies. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Perfect dodge there. It does create a decoy, so if you press circle and dodge at the right moment, you're going to see that you get some benefits there. So here we just got to watch our stamina. This is a scripted event. Fortunately, I did not get caught there. But check this out. We are going to get our very first ability here. And I believe it's called a mysticism. This keeper of the shrine here is actually going to teach us a few tricks along the way.
It's been a while, but the immobilized spell still works like a charm. Since you hail from Mount Huaguo, it won't hurt to teach you a handy trick. Now, here we go. Give me your hand.
Now this spell is actually the most, I'd say the most important spell in the entire game. One of the most effective spells in the entire game. And by using it, you can actually hold an enemy in place and then just deal damage. Depending on the timing, you can even enhance the effects. You can stop an enemy onslaught. You can do a number of different things, so this spell is invaluable and one of my favorites in the games. I never unequipped this, and during our playthrough we might experiment with different types to showcase them, but in order to get everything that we need, immobilization is going to be one of the most powerful spells in the entire game, and we're going to be relying on it pretty heavily.
There you go. Should you come across any miscreants, just point your finger at them and release this spell. You'll be able to hold them in place while giving yourself a breather. Sadly, mine is but a humble trick. Its power will wear off within a few short moments. Though it's good enough against boneheads like this one. Anyway, just consider it an ace up your sleeve. No! The young boys these days know no manners. Fear not. Teach them a lesson with your new spell.
So anyways, if you do want to utilize your new spell, all you need to do is hold R2 and press square, and then you can actually initiate the spell. So we're going to finish our light attack combo, a jumping attack to continue the stagger, and then we can jump into a light attack again. I didn't have any stamina there, that's my fault. Perfect dodge does create the decoys again, so they'll actually be going for those after a while. But there you go. We've taken down the bull guard. That's our first mini boss, so to speak. But anyways, if you notice in the far right, right above our focus, you see that little menu there. See if I can pull it up. And the bar, once it's full, that little hexagon, once it's full, it's going to then allow us to utilize our immobilization again if we have enough mana. Mana is, of course, the blue bar below our health. So on the bottom left, you will see our health bar. You see the blue mana bar that's just been added, and then the yellow stamina bar below it. So now that our cooldown has finished, or expired, we can now hold R2 and then tap square in order to initiate the immobilized spell, as long as we have enough mana. So that's kind of how all that kind of synergizes and works together, so pretty neat. We're going to run up here, And this course is going to tell us we can self-advance. This also tells us that we can essentially level by equipping sparks. And that's something we can do in just a few moments. But for now, we're going to go this way. We're going to get to a safe point here. We're going to take out some of these enemies, harvest some ingredients along the way. The purple Ling Shi is actually incredibly important. In my first playthrough, I never utilized the medicaments or any pills at any point in time. I just harvested the ingredients. I'm a bit of a hoarder in terms of when I play these games. I'm really simple when I play, but I do love collecting everything, but I seldom use everything. But anyways, the purple mushrooms, they are used for a certain medicament that can increase your damage output. So as common as they are, you definitely want to pick them each time. But before we go up this little hill, we're going to go into this pond-like area and take out some frog enemies. Remember, don't get too hasty when it comes to harvesting. Look around first and make sure there aren't enemies that can, ambush you. You do have some iframes whenever you're picking. But again, if they're attacking you and in the middle of a combo, you're probably going to get caught with one of the strikes along the way. So just don't be greedy. So we're going to go up the hill now. And along the way, you're going to see like different ingredients and things like that. Sometimes you'll see little things like this. This is for decoration more often than not. But I will take you down the pathways that will lead to the rewards and all the items. So don't you worry. So here we're going to pick up some aged ginseng. Now keep in mind that aged ginseng is one of two harvestable ingredients or flower types that can actually provide you with a unique soak. So I haven't explained soaks yet, but when you have a gourd, I guess I'll go into the gourd. You can't really see it now, but when I have a gourd, if you look at the actual menu, the tooltip says soaks and it says none. Well, a soak is something that you can equip inside of a gourd that actually can have another passive effect, or not a passive effect, actually an effect that's activated upon using a gourd. So it's opposite of a passive effect. It's an active effect. So essentially, every time you equip a soak into a gourd, depending on the soak that you equip, you'll be able to have a different effect activated once you use your gourd. And soaks are not usable items, meaning like they're not consumable in the sense that you can utilize them infinite amount of times and you'll be fine. So pretty interesting stuff there. Anyways, we had a stone spirit. These are just crafting materials used for crafting weapons. The yarn and things of this nature are used for crafting armor. And you can always look at the description as well to figure it out. But as I said earlier, the aged ginseng is one of two harvestable ingredients to my recollection that grant you unique soaks. But if there are any others, we'll get them guaranteed. But I know that aged ginseng is one and licorice is the other. So anytime you see the plant, be sure to harvest it because you get a chance of obtaining a unique soak. Certain enemies have drops as well. Enemy drops are pretty interesting because depending on the enemy type and the chapter, you will actually encounter a plethora of unique curios, soaks, and other things that the enemies can drop. Typically, it's just limited to curios and soaks, but other times you can get your standard things like will, which is the currency, and then of course crafting materials as well. This is a meditation spot. When you meditate at these for the first time, you're going to be rewarded sparks. Depending on your level, it'll give you a different number of sparks. So it gives you a pretty significant amount of experience. So you do want to meditate at every point you can. And I'm going to show you every single meditation spot as well. Each of the meditation spots, when activated, will kind of give you this really nice like slideshow of I'd say points of reference or reference points you're going to be coming across at some point in time. And just a really nice vista of the area too. So very epic, very relaxing, and just kind of really fitting for the whole this entire game. So now we're good. We've got 4 sparks. So if we want to actually start utilizing some sparks, you can go into your options menu and go to self-advance. From here, you got a few options. So just so I can show you, you've got your foundation, which is like, again, your health and stamina, things of that nature. You have your stances, and then you have your mysticism. Your spells. We're going to have a bunch of different types of spells, but the mysticisms are the kind that, like for example, immobilization, and we'll go over different ones as well, but you have 4 different types of spells that you can use as well. For now, if you go into anything, if you're going to be using any points, it's probably best to go into your foundation. And foundation is going to be important because, of course, without a strong foundation, you are just building upon sand. And that's not going to last, right? So you do want to have a strong foundation. A few things you can look at are, of course, reducing the stamina cost of sprinting, because you're going to be sprinting on a lot of different occasions during boss fights and, of course, throughout the level. Also, just reducing the stamina cost of dodging. Dodging is huge. You're going to be dodging quite a bit. When it comes to the martial arts, these are your basic or opening strikes. So you're going to see, just reading through the different options. Now, if you use the staff spin, you can actually move forward. So again, more options there. And then survival. Here you have the increase for your maximum health, max stamina increase as well. And to be honest, I would say that is probably going to be a little bit more important. And then you can start going into your abilities. I personally prefer to have, reduce stamina costs and things of that nature. But something like having more health and more stamina is going to increase your survivability. So it kind of comes up to preference. But I would say, like, if you're starting out in the game, you probably want to balance between those two. So I'm probably going to have 1 point here for now, for sure. And then we can start having some more points and maybe our max health. So let's just do that for now. Now keep in mind that you're like, oh man, I might have messed up with that option. I really don't like the way my build is shaping up. I'm going to show you guys a nice little way to actually undo any of those mistakes you may have made. So again, we're going to be running up this hill. Just hold R1 and sprint. And again, the stamina usage on those is actually pretty low. Your bar will get incredibly, exponentially larger, so don't you worry about it. We're going to pluck one of our hairs and we're going to activate this shrine here. Now, remember I just told you, if you feel like, you may have misallocated some of those points, all you have to do is go to self-advance, and then you can reignite the sparks. This will let you reallocate all of your points. So at no point in time are you stuck with maybe having a bad build or anything like that. There's not a secret, incredibly hard to get rare item that you need to find. You can do this from the get-go. So again, quality of life is a big part of some of the game. I'd say like they've done very well to include quality of life changes that make the experience much more enjoyable. And you can also set spells once you have different ones, of course. Right now we only have Immobilize, but eventually we'll have 4 different types of spells and different variations we can, kind of choose from. Now, just a hint, every time you go into a new chapter, be sure to check the store and see what they have in their inventory. Also, note that you can sell things here so you can get will. So you can sell a lot of different things. I would not sell anything but your gold pieces like I mentioned earlier. Don't ever sell anything else. In regard to the store, remember each of the 6 chapters is going to have a store accessible via the shrine. But most chapters, all but one, have a secret area. And the secret areas, the shrines also have their own unique stores and inventory. So be sure to scour all of these every time you get a chance. Also, different things will happen upon completing a chapter. So if you beat the chapter and maybe return back to the area, the inventory might update. So just a hint. And I will be showing you guys, how to get everything. So we will be doing some backtracking along the way. But anyways, when you look at what you can buy, there are different spells. I'm sorry, not spells, medicaments here. And these are just pills or medicines you can take. They have different effects. Like this can increase your damage reduction. This one instantly removes burnt state and increases your burn resistance. And this one removes poison state, but increases your poison resistance. So depending on the areas that you're in and the bosses that you're fighting, this may be pretty important. You can also purchase the upgrade materials or crafting materials for armor and weapons. And then, of course, you can purchase any of these little ingredients that you may have already seen or some that you may see in the future. So we haven't picked any snakehead mushroom yet, but we'll be coming up on those before long. So anyways, interesting stuff there. Once you defeat or complete chapter 1, if you go back to this particular shrine, you can get that little back scratcher he has in his hand.
It's not that simple. Let me transform you into a golden cicada, so you may follow the fires ahead and scout this mountain unnoticed.
This is one of many scripted transformation events. I strongly suggest that you do not use it because you'll be bypassing certain things, missing secrets, etc. So here that we are transformed, you can de-transform by holding R2 and circle. So I suggest you do that before moving on ahead. You can definitely look ahead and fly around if you want, but I don't suggest you do that. So just de-transform, and now we're at our shrine. We need to go ahead and rest anyways. So let's rest at the shrine so we can replenish our gourds. And then I'm going to show you guys a few things. There's a mini boss up ahead that many people find incredibly difficult, but we're going to try and trivialize the fight as much as we can. It can be tough if you're not prepared, but anyways, what we're going to do is head this way and destroy these two enemies. I'm going to show you guys the mini boss, but we're going to bypass him for now. So there's a pathway here to the left, which we're going to be taking, and then there's this bridge. There's one more enemy guarding the bridge, though. Alright, and then if you can see, there's an enemy right there with a big old head. He's called a Wandering Wight. You can jump in here and grab this safely, though. He won't aggro from this seed. But if you noticed, this is excellent. I got a Jade Lotus seed. So just by picking up and harvesting the ingredients multiple times, you have a chance of obtaining the seeds. The seeds can be used to be given to an NPC that will help grow the plants for you and pretty much eliminate the need to harvest them altogether. So here, Jade Lotus seed. When entrusted to a gardening enthusiast, it may yield Jade Lotus, and trust me, it does. So anyways, we have this enemy here. We'll be defeating him right after we take on the other mini-boss. We want to make sure you defeat him before you take on the chapter boss, or you will actually miss the opportunity to defeat him. So we're not going to want to do that, so instead we're going to go back here for now. And it's not that he's too hard, I just want to show you guys the rest of this area. It's kind of difficult to navigate if you're not really ready for it. So anyways, we're going to go this way. It can be very deceptively confusing. It's not really big at all, but here we're going to gather the purple Lingxi, and you can just jump over here. We're going to try and stick to the left path as much as we can. Again, this is just another look of that same area. So remember, a lot of the areas are just for looks. This is the aged ginseng. You want to pick as much of that as you can in hopes to get the seeds and also the unique soak that you can get from the aged ginseng. So we're going to take out that enemy, and then this is a stronger enemy here. You can actually start using your immobilization spell. Start off your light attack combo. It should break, and then when he's stunned like that, you can hit him again with a jumping triangle attack, and you want to avoid as much as possible. Regain our stamina. And just dodge in and out. Make sure he's done attacking like that. That way you can go ahead and capitalize on the damage there. Jumping heavy attack here should finish him off. And now we're good to go. So we can check the contents of this chest. And after we do that, we're going to head towards the bridge before we circle back. So we've picked up some evil repelling medicament and tiny pieces of gold. So the game loves to include or to equip things that you just find for the first time. I don't like when it does that, but we're gonna equip the legendary Incense Trail Talisman again because it just unequipped it for us. So up ahead, you're gonna see an archer right where my head's at across the bridge. We want to take him out because once we go this way, he's gonna prove a bit of a nuisance. So a few things you can do here. You can try the staff movement, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Actually, might as well. So hold L2. Oh, he's not doing it now, of course. Just to showcase, I'm going to heal, and then once he's done, I'm going to go ahead and do L2. He's not doing it now, of course. There you go. See, now you can block all these items, deflect them all. Pretty neat. I think it's fun. Anyways, these guys are incredibly accurate, and they can hit you from a mile away, so always take them out when you can. And yes, we did use some mana and stuff unnecessarily, but I'm just trying to showcase this for you. So now we return to the chest now that we've taken out that threat, and we're going to make a hard left up this hill. Really easy path to miss, by the way. We're going to grab the aged ginseng, and we actually got a chance to pick up the Millennium Ginseng, which is a rare drop. So every time you pick up a standard or ingredient, you have a chance of picking up its more rare counterpart. So we got Millennium Ginseng. That's interesting. I haven't picked that up in quite some time. So here we have an enemy we're going to be facing off with, and then we can go down here as well. Honestly, it's kind of however you want to explore the area. You can do it to to your heart's content. But I do like showing this first, because sometimes the plants aren't just plants; they are evil little creatures like so. So they're actual like variants of the plants that are alive and can harm you. So more often than not, they're in the worst places and they can start attacking you once you pick the plant and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by enemies. And sometimes they have poisonous effects and things like that. They can be a bit of a nuisance for sure. Right, stay behind this guy. When he starts swinging around like crazy, just give him some space. Usually he has 4-hit combo and he falls over and you can just knock him down. But just take it easy, and then we get the Age Ginseng, Millennium Ginseng, and we get an updated portrait as well for facing off with that unique enemy type. So we're going to be coming this way in just a moment. We'll circle around here, but for now we're going to do this. We're going to go back up and go to the left. And now we're in this kind of waterfall area, which I'm going to point out a few things before we just jump in. So we can go ahead and harvest this Jade Lotus here. And then whenever you take a look here, you see this crow enemy that we faced off with before. They're pretty difficult early on anyways. And then we see that waterfall. Take note of this waterfall because it's incredibly important for 2 reasons. One, it's going to actually lead us to a secret boss area that we will be returning to at a later point in time. And in order to actually get 100% of everything, you will need to actually take note of this location, return to the location at a specified time, and defeat the secret boss hiding behind the waterfall. So really interesting there, really cool in my opinion, and something you just don't want to miss. It's one of my favorite boss fights in my opinion. Anyway, so we have this enemy here. You want to probably start off with immobilization, that way you can get his back, and then do your light attack combo. Remember, once he's staggered like that, you can jump and do another stagger and then begin your light attack combo anew. Now you can kind of wait for him to do whatever he wants to do. Maybe dodge his attacks, get his back again, and then we can initiate the light attack combo. There you go. So now we made quick work of him. He's dead. And we can heal. And then remember, this is a location we will be returning to for a later time, or at a later time. So here you go. We're going to circle around here, grab the purple Lingxi. Just to kind of put everything together, this is the area where we were taking on the Age Ginseng little monster. So I'm just trying to pull together the world for you guys so you guys can see how it all connects. We're going to take out this guy. This is having a seat. And then we're going to take out his little friend as well. And then just so it's come full circle again, we were just up on that ridge. And this is where we defeated the Ginseng monster. So we've come full circle, right? Now if you were to continue this way, you would have normally got shot by the archer there, so it's pretty annoying. But instead of getting shot, we're going to just grab the Jade Lotus without any worry. And we're going to head up here. And remember, the Wandering White is over to the right. And he's definitely on the other side of that bridge. We're not going to need to go there yet, though. There's just no need to go there just yet. But instead, we can be harvesting all of these ingredients, because some of which are going to actually be needed and utilized for side quests in the upcoming chapters. So now that we've done all that, remember, we've already explored all of this area. That's the bridge. This over here is just a closed off, a shortcut to boss. So this is the boss we'll be facing off with in just a moment. And it's going to kind of pull the world together again for you guys. But this here would be the straight path we would take that leads to the Wandering White. You might see his big head in there. But we're going to be coming back through there a little bit later. This is the bridge where we defeated the archer. So hopefully it's all coming together now, right? We've explored this entire half of the area now. There's the Wandering White, which we'll be visiting here in just a moment after we take on the this boss first. So because we don't have full health, this boss could prove a little difficult. So honestly, what I suggest you do is, this is a great time to use it. You hold R2 and you press down once you've equipped the Incense Trail Talisman, and then you can head back to the shrine. Now at no point in time are you going to have to, of course, defeat every single enemy every single time you go through the area. You don't have to do that. But you can definitely get rid of the ones that might be in your way. So, for example, these guys here we can definitely take out. They do have some proper leashing, but sometimes enemies will follow you to the depths of hell. And other times they will say, oh, okay, I need to stick to my area. So it's kind of hit or miss, to be honest. But we're going to take this path up here. Just remember there's going to be a few enemies kind of ducked away. You don't want them to hit you from behind or anything like that. And a lot of the stronger enemies don't respawn. So if you notice this guy here, he didn't come back. So we'll be going over that as well. Lovely. I prefer dodging. I never really utilized the deflection spell unless it was during a boss fight where you essentially have to, otherwise it's like an undodgeable type attack. So if you see down there, we're going to be going here, picking up all these plants and harvesting some stuff along the way, but first, we're going to go defeat the boss.
Another monkey, I see.
Another monkey.
Why don't you lay down your weapon and join me in Buddha's mercy?
Alright.
What say you?
This is actually a really fun boss fight. He can dash at you really quickly. Again, he can do a lot of really powerful attacks that inflict fire as well, so if you have the fire defense, you might want to use it. Trying to get in perfect dodges so you can get the decoys set up and also just not die. He can throw his staff. He can do a lot of things with the staff, so you just want to get in close, kind of smother him, prevent him from doing what he can, and dodge every time you can. You'll learn that the bosses have a little bit of a weird delay. Do a jumping heavy attack here to stagger him for a bit. And we're just trying to bide time here to build up our gauge here. Wait for our immobilization to cool down and we can spam it some more. Do a jumping attack. There you go. Just dodge and dodge. Try the immobilization. Hit him while he's upside down. Why not? That's fun. Jumping heavy attack. Can initiate our light attack combo. He does 3 dashes usually. He can do up to 3 anyways. There you go, so we defeated him. Again, a tough enemy if you're not used to the dodges, but it's something you can definitely get accustomed to pretty quick. Stay in close, stay aggressive, and if you're far away, prepare to dodge those huge lunges of his. So anyways, that's the first, I'd say, true boss of the game. When we pick this item up here, believe it or not, we get a brand new transformation, a whole new spell. It's called Red Tides. This will allow us to transform into a wolf guy that deals fire-based damage. It's pretty solid, and we're going to be utilizing that quite a bit. I didn't use very many different transformations in my first playthrough. I loved a handful, and I stuck with those, but we're going to be showcasing a few different ones in this playthrough so you guys can really see the power of the Stone Monkey. Weapons and valuables cherished by Yaguas, often carrying lingering obsessions from the deceased owners. Collecting them grants the ability to briefly take on their forms in combat. And so they all have their own strengths and weaknesses, but more important than anything, once you have sufficient might, then you can actually transform. So if you look on this little icon here, you see the wolf to the right. On the left of him is a bar. Once that bar is full, you can initiate the transformation. So everything's going to be based off, if you have enough gauge for it. And this is might. Once you actually use the spell, your might's depleted, and you can regain it again after you deal damage. So, pretty interesting, in my opinion. So here we have something really important that I do want to show you. This is the bell. There are 3 bells in this area that you need to ring in order to activate and access the secret area. So be sure to ring this bell here. Even though you'll be giving a bit of a warning, continue ringing the bell. Remember, the Stone Monkey, or Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, was quite mischievous, so he doesn't follow rules much, right? As the Destined One, we should follow that suit. So here we rang the first bell. Bell number 1 of 3.
Now everyone knows you're here. When a chime so grand echoes in the forest, the Yaguais will surely be alarmed.
So that's the keeper. Obviously, he's very concerned about what we've just done, but it's fine. One thing I want to show you again is if you had like maybe full gourd, you could use the gourd and then you could absorb this essence here, or this will, and then you gain some gourd back, which is nice. You gain a usage back. 1 usage depending on the number of sprites. So anyways, there's nothing else in this location. Just want to kind of show you guys. You can always break pots and urns for some will, but you're going to get like single-digit will. So they do replenish and respawn, so you can get a handful of will. Early on, it's okay, but the benefits are actually pretty low. Because we have some gourd, we're going to actually come back around here, and then we're going to be taking a hard left so that we can avoid the Wandering White and also just explore the rest of this area here. We'll grab some purple Ling Shi right here. Again, this will be used for increasing our damage output, and I'll definitely showcase them. Again, I didn't utilize these in my own playthrough, but they actually do provide quite a benefit. So we've had some Gentian here as well, and then there's the boss, right? So another little mini boss. We're gonna use our Incense Trail Talisman, replenish our heals, just so that you know, once you utilize this, it counts as resting at a shrine, and that's why I love it so much. You have no I'd say consequence to using it. So I think it's really solid. Absolutely love the fact that you don't have any consequences to it, but you do have the ability to already get all the benefits, like resting and all that. And the enemies do respawn, that's fine. You don't have to actually go in and manually rest. You have no idea how many times I did that on accident. I forgot to rest and I'd be going into a new area and then I'd instantly die. Okay, so for this enemy, we're going to be going over a few things, but let's take out this guy first, and we can rebuild our focus along the way, why not? So, the Wandering White is actually pretty powerful, and his attacks are going to be a little unorthodox. So what we want to do is we want to sprint up to him and initiate a light attack combo, and finish it off so we can actually get the stagger. If he gets staggered 3 times, he will actually fall over. So we want to do this here. Do our immobilization. We didn't have enough to stagger, that's okay. But now that we've hit him 3 times, we can come up here and we can initiate the combo yet again. And then we can hopefully get the 3rd combo off before he hits us. There you go. I did the wrong thing there. That might cost me. So now that he's everywhere, we need to be careful. That little Kamehameha combo, you have to dodge laterally. What we can do is we can press R2 and circle to initiate our transformation. And all you do here is you can just deal as much damage as possible. Try and take advantage of it, of course, while you have the ability. This does not actually impact your major health bar, so they have separate health bars, which is fantastic. Back away so we don't get killed here. He's got some crazy AoE. And then we're going to go ahead and rush again. From here we can do our light attack combo, initiate it all over again. There you go. And then we can heal just in case he comes back up, and now we're going to start our light attack combo again. So again, this guy's pretty difficult. What we're going to want to do is kind of wait out our immobilization. This guy can be incredibly difficult, so just keep your distance, dodge laterally there. We're waiting for our immobilization so we can deal some major damage here. If not, we're going to be in trouble. This guy's really strong. Deceptively strong, because he looks goofy. But let him be silly. That can be up to a 4-hit combo, so 2, 3, and then when he takes his hand out, each ring will of course increase his distance of how far he hits. So initiate the immobilization, do the light attack combo. We can try another light attack combo if we need to. We might be able to pull this off here. And then jumping heavy attack. And then we can do the light attacks and he's finished. So that was first try, Wandering White. Not easy, if I should say so myself. Not very easy, but by defeating him you get a unique curio. And this curio is fantastic. I'm going to show you what that little purple sprite is in just a moment, but Blood of the Iron Bull is also material you get for crafting different items. And so if we go to our curio, you can see here that we have the cat eye beads, which slightly increases critical hit chance. So love that. Definitely want to equip that any chance we get. And you can just go through and you can see all the new materials we got. The blood of the Iron Bull and different things of that nature. The Millennium Ginseng, etc. Okay, well, you're going to notice that right now, we may not be able to actually consume it. So it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have guidance, right? Cannot absorb souls without guidance. So you're like, oh no, I might have messed up. But remember, this game has lots of quality of life things that are going to make it to where you don't really miss out on too much. Now, there are some quests, side quests, that you might completely miss out on, and it requires you to go through a New Game Plus just to get them. But that's different. Those are going to be things that I point out. Things like game mechanics, though, you're typically not going to be punished in that regard. So what we're going to do is, now that we've reused our legendary talisman, we're going to clear out these enemies. I just wanted to replenish my gourd because I was completely depleted of any heals or anything like that. And you don't want to do that when going into a new area. You definitely want to have some gourd uses available. But anyways, now we're right back to where we left off, the Wandering Wight. And guess what? The purple sprite would normally still be there had we not teleported, but don't worry, it's not lost. Okay, so we're gonna go to gather, grab some aged ginseng. Again, remember the ginseng is one of 2 that grants a unique soak. So any chance we get, we want to definitely be harvesting this stuff. We got the Millennium Ginseng again. That's so rare. It's so funny that I'm getting that so often on this this playthrough. But anyways, we're gonna head down here. Go to this little scaffolding area and just carefully navigate. You can't fall or anything. Trust me, I've tried. And you can feel free to break any of these urns along the way for some little will here and there. Nothing that's gonna break the bank, or nothing that's gonna make you rich either. So here, now that we have health, there's going to be 3 enemies. You want to take out the archer first. Ranged enemies are always the priority. So just lock onto him and then go ahead and take him out there. If you want, you can have fun with it. You can use your transformations. At any point in time, if you hold R2 and circle again, you can de-transform. So you can do whatever you want. Remember, triangle is your heavy attack, so we're doing all kinds of damage with this here. And now it's depleted, so made quick work of the enemy. And guess what? Even though I got hit in the wolf form, it doesn't translate over to the destined one, so my health is still pretty much full. We've arrived at the Guanyin Temple. This is actually a pretty key location for this chapter.
In the backyard is Black Wind Guai's ally, calls itself Ling Shutsa. Considering your strength, I suggest you get away while you can.
So we have a boss coming up ahead, and pretty interesting because this is one of, I'd say, one of the more interesting boss fights. I had an absolute blast fighting him. Every boss fight is so unique and so different. They're at no point in time in this game do you ever feel like, wow, I got cheated. It's one of those games where, you know, they just use reskins. Very rarely do you ever see that or feel that. And there are about, I would say, probably 75 to 80 bosses in this game, and very few of them, if any at all, feel the same. So here, now that we've reached the Guanyin Temple, as you progress in the game and activate new shrines, you have the ability to craft different pieces. So in my opinion, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be having a lot of fun with some piece that you may not actually agree with, but trust me, this is going to be something that completely changes the way that you play. So what we're going to do is we will be crafting the Pilgrim's set. So the Pilgrim set is, of course, going to consist primarily of yarn. So the way a lot of these pieces work is depending on how much you're using, and depending on the rarity of the piece that you're crafting, it's going to require more and more pieces of crafting materials and different ingredients along the way. Starting from yarn to all the way like to celestial ribbons, which are of the mythical quality, which is the highest rarity you can find in the game. So anyways, first things first, we definitely want to have as much of the pieces as we can. So we're going to craft this. And once you craft it, you are prompted to equip it. Go right ahead and equip it. There's no problem with that. And then here, there's more yarn uses there, and we got the bracers and the leg wraps. So we're going to go ahead and throw on some leg wraps as well. Anything that's going to give us a little bit more defense. And then the wrist wraps or the bracers. And then we need 5 pieces here. So remember, each of the shrines acts like a store. Within any individual chapter, the inventory is going to be the same. However, in a secret chapter, it might have something different. So you can look and see, yarn. Okay, perfect. I can buy some yarn. It costs 1,200. Okay. And remember, we can always sell things that we have as well. So we could sell all of these here, and we get some will back. You don't lose will at any point in time or upon death, so don't ever worry about, maybe doing a transaction saying, oh gosh, I think I just lost it. You don't lose it unless you spend it. So now we can craft the entire set. So guess what? If we take a look at the tooltip here, it says we've got increased defense, but if we wear 2 pieces, we get a benefit called the Swift Pilgrim, and it moderately increases our sprint speed. If we have 4 pieces equipped, when sprinting, each second moderately increases attack. This effect can stack up to 10 times and will cease upon stopping. So every time you're sprinting, your attack is increasing. That stacks up to 10 times. So you can have an incredible amount of bonus damage just because you're sprinting. And guess what? We sprint a lot because there's open and vast areas that you're constantly exploring. So guess what? That's a really good thing to have, is it not? So anyways, at first you'd be like, it looks okay, but just you wait. This armor is, although it's one of the first armors you can, or it is the first armor you can craft, is one of the best in the entire game, and the one that I use in my playthroughs. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, or absorb this will over here. I'm going to grab the purple Ling Shi in the corner. You can break these. I mean, again, it's not really too important. I just like to break. It's just satisfying more than anything, but as we work our way around, we're going to head over here. I'm going to open up this chest, and that'll give us some more tiny pieces of gold and some yarn. So again, you're going to get all kinds of these crafting materials along the way.
There's no turning back.
So again, the keeper is really concerned. He's like, hey, don't go there. There's something really powerful there, and it's he's the friend of that wolf you just fought. So I'm like, well, that's unfortunate. But anyways, only those 3 corners have items. That last 4th corner does not have anything there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to defeat this boss and then end the stream there so that we can jump into part 2 of chapter 1. But let's go ahead and continue and face off with this really cool boss. I think his name is Ling Zhuxi. Really tough, really ferocious, and in my opinion, tons of fun. We're going to go and run over to him, hit him in the face a few times. Light attack combo is the way to go. He loves just kind of disappearing. Jumping on rooftops, retreating away. Just stay in close. Stay off to the side if you can. That way you can avoid most of his dodge attacks. We're going to go ahead and transform. See if we can make as much use of it as possible. Remember, this fire damage is going to be incredible against most enemies. He's actually on fire now, so then you can use our special ability once we've built up enough meter. And we can heal just to be safe. Watch for the enemy as he's taking fire damage. If we're sprinting, every time you see my staff glow red, we're getting increased damage. So it's awesome. Increased damage just by running, which does not take any skill at all. You can also heal while sprinting now, which is something you cannot do with any other armor in the entire game. Once he comes back down, we can use our immobilization. Let's just make sure to dodge that initial thrust. Yep, there you go. And now we can go in, immobilize, and do our light attack combo. Finish the light attack combo to get a stagger. Jumping heavy attack for another stagger if we can. He's actually hurting right now pretty good. Avoid the bite. That's a nasty grab attack. Stay off to the side, as I mentioned. He's probably going to roar here. Jumping heavy attack to finish him off, and that's first try. Ling Zhuxi, the Yaoguai King. So that fuzz little puppy's been taken care of now.
You surprised me. Now that it's dead, you might as well take a good look around. A great pill, the Black-Winged Guai, gifted to move. Would be a deserving.
So now the keeper is pretty much, saying, hey, good job, congratulations, go ahead and reward yourself with some of the items around here. There's a pill around here that might be of use. Now the golden pills are really important. So anyways, as you saw, the movement speed's increased. If I'm sprinting, you can see my staff starting to glow. So again, every time it does that, we get increased damage. We also obtained a new piece of headgear, which is the Grey Wolf Mask. So this inflicts considerably more damage bonus on enemies at critical health. So enemies with lower health, you're going to be dealing tons more damage to them. So it's really awesome. That's not bad to have early on as well. But we're going with our pilgrim thing. A mind core is going to be used for crafting medicines. Medicines, or celestial medicines in particular, can have permanent effects on your health bar, your stamina gauge, your elemental resistances, your mana bar, and anything else you can think of. So really cool stuff there. So again, this is just a temple. It's closed off. You can't do anything here. One of these areas over here has a chest. So we're going to go to the right and this little pagoda area here. We can harvest this first. Remember, you do want to harvest as much Jade Lotus as possible. It will be important for a quest a little bit later on. And we can open this chest here. And then just so that you guys know, there aren't any additional items down this pathway. It just circles around the front. So we're going to go up this main staircase. And then we have two choices to make. You can look left and you see an item, and you can look right for no item. So we're going to go this way, of course. When you open this up, this is your first taste of celestial medicine. This is the Celestial Jade Lotus Pill, which increases your maximum health permanently. So if you can see there, our bar increases, and it's a good chunk too. It's a nice, healthy chunk, and I love that. So here, this is just a little pathway. There's no secrets or anything on either side of this. You can just walk around. Anytime you see like that little essence kind of leading us towards a certain path, like I'm trying to see if you can tree, there it is. It's leading you straight to a shrine, so you can always just go straight to it if you're kind of concerned. Sometimes though, it is a little bit further away than you'd like, so you're thinking, oh, there's a shrine right next to me, and it might actually be a little bit of a ways up ahead. So first things first, we're going to go here, activate the shrine, and then we can rest so that our gourd and everything else is replenished. Our gourd, our mana, our health. And then you can always go ahead and self-advance, which means we can press our options menu and then see whatever points we want to utilize and see how we want to utilize them most. So again, I like reducing the cost of dodging because I dodge quite a bit. The dodge being more flexible and agile is good because you clear much more distance. So I do like that as well. When it comes to health and stamina, these are also very important. So I'm going to start bumping up my stamina as well. We'll finish up our health and then we'll do our stamina next. But that's just kind of a good way to have it. Now if you take a look, we have even more stamina and more health. Always a good thing to have. So we're going to go ahead and rest, replenish everything, top off our health, and we are now in the back hills. And that, my friends, is going to bring part 1 of the ultimate 100% guide for Black Myth Wukong to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you had any help, or if it helped in any way, if you got any value out of it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because it lets me know you want more content just like this. Be sure to stay tuned for part 2 of the 100% guide, and until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out.